a white paper in action that I saw applied to me. And then this game came out in early access. It's basically Pokemon. Like they call it Revamon. It's Pokemon. It's Pokemon with Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time type properties, because that's what the Pokemon basically seemed like they were made off of, was Legend of Zelda. So it's a bunch of IP stealing, but it's a tremendous, like, really fun experience. And it was the first use case of NFTs that I was like, okay, I can understand how I would like to use this. And that kind of got me talking to you when I was trying to figure out what NFT to buy for my first time.
Awesome. I'm so glad that his first experience, his first taste of utility is with a VR NFT game. And it only makes sense, right? That's what's going to grab their VR enthusiasts. And that's what I've been saying here, honestly, for years is you got to create a utility, a use case for these NFTs, not just having it as an investment tool, because that's going to bore people. Yes, it's great to make money flipping NFTs. Buy one of these for $5, turn around and sell it for $10. You just made an extra $5, right? Do that across 100, 1,000, 10,000, a million NFTs. You can make a lot of money in this space. But just making the NFT and then flipping it is just one use case. Being able to then utilize it in a game as, you know, a character that you collect, and then having different assets attached to it, like having fire abilities, ice abilities, water, all of these different move sets, being able to exchange those like you could with, if anybody here ever played Pokemon, I'm sure you guys have gotten the chance to upgrade your Pokemon and change their move from, you know, one move to another move that's better, right? You can be able to do that with these NFTs and basically blend abilities or blend different NFTs together. And another thing that we talked about on last 2 weeks ago, our most recent Yummy NFT event, we started talking about sharding NFTs, which means splitting it up. So you can have one NFT, you know, let's say like a Mona Lisa, if you will. A lot of people can't afford a Mona Lisa, but if you wanted to invest in it with a pool of other people, all of your money together could afford that Mona Lisa. And then you own a percentage of the NFT and can be able to earn, as the value of the NFT itself goes up, you earn that value that's increasing for the portion that you purchased. So there's a lot of things that people can do with this space, both financially and, you know, in a game sense. You know, a big trend that's growing right now with the NFT space is called play to earn. Have you heard of play to earn yet?
Yes, Revamon. The white paper has it in there. I haven't seen it enacted, but I've read a few white papers that allude to that kind of call to arms or call to action.
All right. So, you know, with this new genre of gaming, you know, most people are used to paying $60 right up front to play your game, right? Or if you're on your Oculus Quest, a lot of the games are like $40, $30. You got to pay before you can jump into the game and play. And then there are some games that are free to play and you don't have to pay anything, but they're making money on basically the data. If you're not paying anything, you are the product. Whereas with play to earn games, you can be able to play the game and then earn NFT assets and then be able to sell those NFT assets. And a lot of the times, the games will just take a small cut of the transaction if you sell it. So you could be able to grind and grind and grind, earn a really cool, let's say, sword or gun, whatever it is. And then how many times has somebody gotten something even better and I'm no longer using this? I might as well sell it. Well, when you sell it in the game, what does that get you? Nothing. Well, whereas with pay to earn games, if you sell that asset, you actually just got something that could be traded for real world money that you could use for groceries. You could be able to take those assets off the game and be able to utilize it elsewhere. You know, that's one of the features that really grabs me. Imagine your alt space character that you guys are using right now. You made that an NFT. You could be able to take that alt space character with you to, let's say, VR chat or another game. Imagine having one avatar across all the games that you play.
Yeah, I think there's like I think when NFTs were like that big craze, that last wave, it's there's a lot of money to be made, right? And I think that's the focus of a lot of conversations. What got me interested in the VR side is I think we need to understand the different mentality of what this experience brings. So like what headset are you on right now?
Quest 2, buddy.
So you're on the Quest 2, I'm on the Index. I would be very confident polling anyone in here that no one wants the headset they have on them on their 24/7. Like right now, there's friction. It's a little uncomfortable. Like we have to be realistic that this isn't going to be sustainable for long extended periods of time to majority of people. But where VR is different than traditional gaming, where I think traditional gaming is about a lot of consumption. It's constant games after constant games after constant games. VR, we're not really playing games all the time. We're going to a destination, and that destination means something to us a little bit more than just a game. So, for example, Population One and Pavlov are two games that I religiously play. They are probably 90% of the VR time I've ever used because they're part of my week. Like, if I'm stressed, Pavlov's the destination, or Population One's the destination. If I don't play throughout a week, I feel like I missed a part of my life. So if that's the way that we're treating these VR experiences, because there's a lot of friction, a lot of things that we know are uncomfortable, and we want our time inside it to matter, anything we can do to make that world even more of our being or more important to us is going to be valuable. And that's where I think NFTs are the most. And we're not only using this as a destination, like all space. If this is someone's go-to thing, what if you can build also monetary value in here? It's not about money, but it's about your destination, your other location that you want to be, also having the same autonomy you do in real life, but in VR.
And that's where a lot of platforms like Decentraland, you got Somnium Space for virtual reality, CryptoVoxels if you're into stuff like Minecraft. Sandbox is another Minecraft-like platform that are doing what we called ILOs, initial land offerings. I'm sure a lot of people that are into stocks probably know about IPOs. If you heard about crypto in 2017, it was probably due to ICOs, initial crypto offering, whereas our coin offering. Whereas now with a lot of these virtual land platforms, we have an initial land offering where they're offering land for you to purchase via Ethereum or whichever cryptocurrency their platform is utilizing. And once you buy that land, you know, if you're a designer and you build worlds or you build games, you can be able to build on that land and then charge people for accessing your land and going to the things that you do. You know, I could enable it an event, and you'd have to have an NFT or something to be able to access that event. You know, you can use NFT as tickets. You can use NFT for pretty much anything. Almost everything can be an NFT. Anything that you want to be able to verify value of that item, whether digitally or physically. Mainly it's been designed for digitally, but there are more and more oracles or connections to the real world for you to be able to track the real value of something digitally through the blockchain by adding, let's say, an NFC reader or RFID chip. Stuff like that can be embedded. QR codes could be, I've seen artists that put the QR code into the painting. They paint the QR code into the piece, so that way you can always be able to see the address of that piece and see how much it's worth just by scanning the piece itself. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
there's a lot of use cases. I told you I'd be honest though. Like I'm bullish on the concept of NFTs within virtual reality because that's really what I focus on. I don't I'm kind of learning a little bit of everything. I'm bullish on NFTs overall. I love the concept. I love the ability. I love what they give people. From what I have seen though so far, I am still, like I told you, honestly, still skeptical. I've seen a lot of good like this around us. Like it's undeniable if he's making this and selling it, and these are opportunities that he may have not. It's a he, right? I don't want to be rude here, but
Yes, Dogecoin Kid, the art pieces around the world for those that can't see.
Yeah. Yes. So the art that's around this world, made by Doge Kid, like it's undeniable. He made art. I don't know what his opportunity was to market this without them being NFTs. It seems like I know these are all sold. I've never sold a piece of art, so the fact that I see 8 pieces of art up here that are sold. He's successful to me. It's undeniable that this worked and this is valuable to him. So just by looking at this, I don't know how anyone can deny how NFTs have value, but I do remain skeptical on that. The majority of things that I have seen in action so far, I'm not entirely bullish on. I think they will work out in the end. What we see right now isn't really what we'll see in 5 years.
So I agree with you on that, and that's where I try to get people to analyze before they just go head first and spend all of their money and blow it all in this space. It's really easy to blow your money. It's not so easy to quadruple your money or come out with really big gains, but it's also not so hard either. Literally, if you make art, sell it, you can make money in this space. If you buy art, flip it and sell it, you can make money in this space. If you utilize something that has a utility and utilize it regularly, you could be able to earn cryptocurrencies and so many different use cases. It really comes down to doing your own research and understanding what it is that you want and what it is that the project that you're looking at is aiming to do. There's so many different things in this space that can be done. So I'm super bullish on this space as well. But like I said, there's trends, right? I called it earlier the 4th hype cycle for when you finally decided, all right, damn it, it's time for me to do some research and understand this NFT space, right? I found out about NFTs in 2017. I could have dismissed it right then and there, but that would have then been my second mistake, as my first mistake was dismissing Bitcoin when I saw it in 2011.
Yeah.
So if anybody here saw Bitcoin in 2011 like I did, it was about 30 cents in February of 2011. Imagine if I had bought one, even just one at 30 cents in 2011. Now you're talking about $40,000, $50,000 per Bitcoin, right? So I saw that trend where first it went through Bitcoin, went from just this magical internet money that these nerds were trading online so then a bunch of people were utilizing it for illegal things, and you got more people were utilizing it for finance and value, and you started to see other platforms coming out of it like Ethereum, Cardano, all of these other platforms that are saying, okay, not only can we keep track of the information and verify information for financial use cases, but we can create smart contracts. With those smart contracts, we can create basically a if this statement for your transaction. If you want this piece, you can bid for this amount. There's so many different ways. I'm not going to give you a list of all the different things you can do with contract, but with that new form of technology, that's where we got NFTs. The first form of NFTs is called ERC20. It stands for Ethereum Request for Comment. Basically, it allowed you to create a piece, like one art piece, and sell that one piece. Those are one of ones. And somebody decided, well, like Prince, what if I don't want just a one of one? I want to sell one out of 100 or one out of 1,000, a million, whatever amount that you want. You want to be able to sell multiple, but kind of like, Pokemon cards where, yes, I can make a bunch in that batch, but there's only one first one from that batch. And then, so many that are within the first grouping, right? And that creates value in having, whether it's the very first, Charizard card or whatever it is, there's value in having the first of that group. And the more that people are utilizing it and collecting it and trading it, and the more volume that is there around that project, the more excitement and hope that there is. So as long as you have a community that's growing, that's thriving, that's sustainable, then that platform and that project is sustainable. But if you have, like, the first NFT project that I saw was CryptoKitties back in 2017. You heard about that one?
Oh,
all
yeah.
right. So basically little kittens that people drew that you could then turn around and sell. And not only that, but if you bought 2 kittens and they're sitting in your wallet, anytime they can basically make another kitten babies, and you just earned another NFT just from holding two NFTs. It could be more rare than the other two because that one is a specific copy. There's so many different things that could be done. Again, do your own research and understanding CryptoKitties if you want to learn more about that. But that was a project that got a lot of hype in 2017 when I first saw NFTs, and then it kind of died. And unfortunately, the engineers or developers, Dapper, basically moved on and created other projects and never went back to CryptoKitties. There's still some CryptoKitties worth some money. Some people sold some for hundreds of thousands of dollars, but now nobody really cares about CryptoKitties. So where you're saying with like in 5 years, how much of these art pieces are going to be worth all that, it really comes down to the developers, right? If the developers or the artists are keeping the community alive, then the value of that community will continue to stay alive. But like with CryptoKitties, if you don't continue to add on and innovate and grow with this space, then your pieces could be worth nothing. So again, do your own research, understand what you're getting into. Are you going to be joining a project that's going to be here in 5 years, or are you just buying this so you can hurry up and make a quick buck and sell it? I want to see more people in the space to, be a part of the space and join events like this and talk with more people and not just flipping pieces. So talk to me more about, what's next on your venture. You've got a huge platform, 50 some odd thousand viewers or subscribers on YouTube. Congratulations.
Thank you.
To you, brother.
It's going to be an interesting journey, man.
I guess help them understand what this new technology is and why it's important to them to at least understand it. I'm not saying that anybody needs to go buy NFTs. This is not financial advice. I just want more people to understand the opportunity that's in front of you to be able to either make, sell, flip, do whatever in this space, because you can create your own content and really harness that content.
Yeah, it's an interesting question, and I will give you my honest thoughts. Like, I don't mean them to be harsh. Like I said, I'm definitely bullish on NFTs, but my journey, it's really going to be a sit and wait. Right now, I'm waiting to see. I'm really paying attention to Rivamon. I don't think that's going to be it, but that's the concept that I would like to see explored more. I would say for people like myself who are trying to figure out what to do, or to answer your question really more specifically, how do more people get into this and learn? I want to share with you what detracted me the most, because I think that helps figure out what would attract people. What distracted me the most is the constant hype cycles of the next mint, the next drop, the next animal with 8,888 variations. I understand where the value comes from, but I see them all as a little bit of a derivative of CryptoPunks and of the apes. It's another coin launched, basically. That's what we're doing. Every time you see these mints, it's a lot of hype. It's a new crypto coin that its value is going to be dictated by the community. Where I think the value lies in these that people need to research is, what are these people doing with the funds they're raising by sending these? Also, I'll drop a name. I don't have one of these, but I was paying attention to the Afrodroid drop by the artist. I think it's Owo. I might have mispronounced that. OWO. They donated, I believe, 20% of all the Ethereum raised to a particular charity that, don't misquote me, I know it dealt with, I believe, African youth, specifically females. And they raised a insane amount of money very quickly on the drop. Will that project be lucrative for the investors? TBD. You're buying a real artist, verified artist work, and that can get more valuable over time. But regardless, it did a lot of good. It raised, I don't know how much. I think it's something like 150 Ethereum coins for this one charity. That's insane. Those are the types of projects that I hope to pay more attention to. But my journey would have been farther along if it wasn't just the constant hype of the next project that could fizzle out. And you get these people who are new to NFTs jumping in and just end up losing money, unfortunately, because they're not educated in what they're buying into. It's a higher risk, higher reward crypto buy at this point.
And I got it up on the screen for those that want to check it out. This is the AfroDroids project he's talking about. This is their website, trying to see if I could find at least one of the NFTs. There you go. That's what they look like.
Yeah.
I remember he had pointed to one on Twitter that gotten my interest and looked pretty cool.
Well, I'm still trying to buy it. There is a single droid that I want. I want to support this project because I think what they're doing is amazing. Even if I don't make money off this, there is a certain droid that I think aesthetically is just beautiful, and I would love to own that as the artwork. But the owner is holding it right now, so I'm going to wear him down over time. But what they're doing with this project is amazing. It's not. Could it be a lucrative investment? Absolutely, it has the complete potential. But regardless, right here where it's coming up, what they're doing with this money is just is amazing. I saw a video that they released.
Academy, Girls of okay, that's a nonprofit offering educational opportunities in Africa, I believe, right? And music and visual arts. Love it.
It's amazing. So like you got to research these drops, and I hope when people decide to, if you do want to join a drop, like you see these things like like CryptoKitties, AfroDroids, you see the apes, all these things. If you're going to join a new one where you're buying in at 0.05 and when you good for you, do your research. I can't help you with that on what works and what doesn't because I don't know myself. But if you support something like this from a known artist who all this money is going to charity regardless, you're just buying a nice piece of art that you own, can resell, could get more valuable, but regardless, this is doing tremendous amounts of good. Would this artist have ever had the exposure without the NFT process? Would this artist have ever been able to donate, Ethereum like $33,000? It's low, $3,000 for easy math's sake, and he just gave 150. That's ridiculous amount of money that could be raised because of an NFT where maybe this artist never had that ability to before.
And if they did have the ability, you probably got some third party that wants to take a big chunk of it. Whereas with a lot of this technology, the whole thing is to get rid of the middleman. So yes, the platform will take its initial fees, but it's nothing. It's minute compared to what third parties would take. And when it comes to like remittances, what I love paying attention to right now, and just giving you guys an example, there was an article recently that I was looking into for Washington Mutual, I believe, the company where you send your money overseas to like family that lives in other countries and stuff like that, right? El Salvador is now allowing Bitcoin as legal tender. So you can go to El Salvador and just be able to spend your Bitcoin at all the stores rather than switching to the United States dollar or using USD. For some people, they say that's a really bad thing for USD and a really good thing for Bitcoin. It really depends. Double-edged sword, right? The whole thing that I'm bringing up at Washington, whatever the company is that allows Americans to send their US dollars back to family members in El Salvador, they would use this company. Well, $400 million is at stake if people just decide, you know what, instead of paying fees, Washington Mutual or whatever, Western Union was the company I was thinking. I'm sorry. And instead of spending, their money and paying fees to Western Union, which takes, I think, like up to 30% in remittances, you could just be able to send it in Bitcoin and they get that total amount because I can do peer-to-peer transactions. I was listening to a YouTuber talking about hiring more staff, and one of his problems recently was he couldn't find a way to be able to pay the staffer in another country. Try to do PayPal, try to do Cash App, try to do all these different options, and they just couldn't access it. He decided, can I just send you Bitcoin instead? Like, that's the access we have where I could just send you money directly and I don't have to worry about going through someone else. Just give me your wallet address. Here's your money.
Yeah, I love it all. I just would hope, like my plea, what I would hope to see, like, I'll just say Twitter because that's like the main social media that I'm on and getting bombarded with NFT stuff, is that for people who are interested in it, just realize, stay away from the hype that you're going to flip this and make 10x like immediately. Like just put that out of your mind. What you should focus on is research it as this is a piece of art that you're going to own and you're going to be able to resell. Like what you buy, and then do a lot of research on who you're buying from, because that's really where the power is. Are you buying from, the two kids that are just going to mint you 9,999 random animals with different faces that they just copy the JPEG from somewhere else and they're pocketing it? It could be that. Or look at these roadmaps, like someone like AfroDroids, and find ones that the money's going to someone that you care about, where if you own your piece of art and it just devalues to nothing, you're still happy because you own the piece of art that you want and did good at the same time. I think if we saw more of that on social media rather than the constant hype cycles of this just sold for $1 million, which is completely unrealistic for most people. Like really the only traction on those is like the apes and CryptoPunks and some of these higher caliber ones. Pudgy Penguins is getting pretty big right now, but don't focus on becoming a millionaire. You need to be focusing on the hype of owning art that is now a better medium for the artist to sell, and you're doing ultimately better good for some of these. I think that's what I want to see more of pushed rather than this endless hype cycle of let's get rich, guys.
So I love that point. Kudos. I would definitely want to see some emojis. Give it up for Eric. Valid points, right? What I would say is that it's not an endless cycle, because we've seen this trend before as Bitcoin and all of these other cryptocurrencies get hyped, get really big, more people with money get into it. We see what happens when Elon Musk gets into it, and then we got the crash, and then another hype, and then another crash. The cycle is always going to continue. There's always going to be news. There's always going to be that FOMO, the fear of missing out. There's always going to be that fake news, we call it FUD in this space, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. There's always going to be, the China's that's going to do something that's going to affect your currency, like this new gaming rule law that's making it so that they can only have like 3 hours of gaming a day. That cripples
it's a week
gaming market. Huh?
It's a week now. They just changed it. 1 hour a day over the weekend.
That's crazy, like to have such overreaching powers. They have the capability of doing that, and it decimates an entire, online economy. But with this space that I've noticed is, as long as you keep building, there's no stopping you. Yes, that just means that you no longer have as large of a community in China, to which that we all know Chinese people know how to use VPNs. That's not going to stop them. They're going to find their way around it, right? But there's always going to be another community, another market, another target. There's always going to be that cycle. So like you said, do your research, understand the project and what the project's goals are, what the roadmap is, what they plan to do, and what they plan to do with that money, where it's going and who it's benefiting. Do your research on the team. We have up here the artists, and you can be able to look into them and the next person that's on their team. Esther, you could be able to do your research on her. She's a charity coordinator. Maybe look into what some other charities that she worked on and stuff like that. There's many different ways to understand the people that are behind the projects you're looking at. And, a big way is going online, going to YouTube, looking them up, seeing if you could find anything about them. There's new projects every day, but like you said, there's different projects that are doing different things. So you kept throwing out a bunch of names of some of the top projects right now. I think everybody here should probably know about CryptoPunks. If you haven't, definitely look it up. I'll bring it up on the screen if you guys want. They're just these 16-bit looking characters that some people just use them basically as a profile pic. That's their use case, just being able to put it on their profile pic on Instagram or Twitter, which to me, that's not enough for me to go spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on an art piece digitally or physically. But hey, to each their own. If you got money, spend it the way you want, right? Whereas with the Bored Ape Yacht Clubs, they're the first ones really to come out and say, yes, you can have this Bored Ape, use it as a profile pic. Not only that, this is supposed to be for a specific stature. It's supposed to be kind of representing people of a certain echelon in the NFT community. And because you have a Bored Ape, you're allowed to get other Bored Ape drops. So you get other NFTs just for having a Bored Ape, as well as they have physical meetups. So I've been hearing about meetups in Manhattan, Miami, and San Francisco. So I think that's pretty neat of having that I would say a utility in regards to owning the NFT gets you access to the other Bored Ape holders and events. And
Yep.
then you also have, platforms that are doing many different things with these NFTs. One of the things, me and a couple of my colleagues in the crowd are really looking into is more of a VR community with holding that NFT. You, Eric, could have your own community of NFT holders and utilizing that money in a way that you want to leverage it. That's your 50,000 subscribers that want to buy in and hold this token, whether you want to make 50,000 of those NFTs, 10,000, so that there's a, scarce amount and they could be able to buy into it, hold it, and earn other things. Maybe, be on your fireside chat if you have this NFT, or there's so many different ways you can utilize it. I love seeing people get in this space and analyze it and sit back and watch. I love to see even more the people that finally say, all right, I'm done sitting back and watching. I've done enough research. I've understood enough of it. Time for me to do something and build something. And that's what excites me the most, is that this technology encourages entrepreneurship. There's so many people that I'm meeting on a regular basis that are just like, yo, I'm tired of my retail job. I'm over it. I quit, going full-time NFTs. I'm just gonna make as much art as I can and sell as many as I can. And some people are able to make a living off of it. When you already have an audience, it's a lot easier. When you have no audience, it takes so much longer to get your art sold, because you need to convince people that this is something that they should have.
Yeah, it's like VR we're in right now. It's these two, both NFTs and VR. They're very similar in a way to me, in the sense that there's no blueprint. There's nothing. There is no blueprint for success. Everyone is figuring these things out as we go. We're finding some best practices. We're finding some horrible practices. Some people are absolutely succeeding in both the VR and NFT space, and others are crashing and burning. But that is kind of the beauty of why we're all into this stuff. This is a new frontier. We're all learning, and in a decade from now, we're going to be living in here a lot, guys. Like, this is going to be a much larger part of people's lives, and that's why I allude that VR are destinations. I'm not like I am playing Pavlov, but I'm going to Pavlov. Like, I am going to a destination when I play that game that brings me peace, brings me happiness, and is part of my life. It's not just a game. And as people do the same thing with NFTs, where first maybe someone gets in because they want to see if they can make a bunch of money, right? Maybe then they start understanding the utility of it. Then maybe they start realizing, oh no, I can bring these digital assets into VR and build this place that is mine. Like, there's all these options and things that people are doing and figuring out. It's the Wild West. It's beautiful, but it's also scary. You got to do your research, realize that even if you do everything right, you may still get burned. But that's why we all do the things that we do right now. NFTs, VR, we are early adopters and explorers. And we also have a duty to try to teach others this in the right ethical way.
Agreed. I'm so glad you said all of that. Guys, I couldn't have said any better. I'm so grateful to have Eric for President here on stage with me here on Blockchain Universe for Yummy NFTs. I'm going to open up the floor. If any of you have any questions, go ahead and hit that participation hand. You should see the little pop-up to raise your hand, and I will give you the megaphone so you can go ahead and ask your questions for Eric for President here. Anybody got any questions? Nobody? Shocked. I think you've done such a great job answering all of the questions before they could even ask them.
No, I get it, man. It's scary coming up on stage and asking questions too. I used to force people during heavily encouraged users in Discord to pop up during some of the streams, and they did, but it you could hear it in their voice, and man, it's scary. And then you open yourself up to, you have to give on the spot questions or responses, and then that means everyone else is listening, and because you're talking, they have expectations. It's a scary thing,
Absolutely. Guys, I appreciate you all for being here. Eric, let the audience know where they can find you and, what your channel's all about.
Yeah, you can find me on YouTube, channel name is Eric for President. Used to be a joke. It got a little more it was made before things got super political. But yeah, Eric for President or Eric for President clips for smaller versions, and I'm most active on Twitter. I think it's Eric President VR. It's been a long time since I checked my Twitter handle, but the fireside chats we do, guys, they're very different than the content that's out there. They're not meant to do anything but make me a better person, bring the conversations that I think need to be talked about. But I basically bring someone who has any bit of remote interest into anything XR, which would be virtual reality, augmented reality, anything digital. And there's no talking points. I don't come with any prep. It's just me and someone else hanging out together, talking for about an hour to see where things go. During that, we learn a lot. It's all about that human connection and asking the right questions of what matter to us, whether that's about what our lives will be digitally, the implications of that, what we're having fun doing, and just what's making us happy. So it's really just a celebration of everything digital in every way.
Awesome, man. Well, it was a pleasure having you on here for Yummy NFTs. Guys, I want everyone to come up on stage. We love to take a picture at the end of the day and save this, hold this memory forever to be able to see our journey in VR as we grow. Guys, make sure you come join us in VR, Altspace VR, every Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Catch your boy Token Gamer and VR Yum Yum next week. Glad to have you guys. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night.
See ya.
Okay.